Why the AI coaching gold rush is a trap. That's the conversation today on the podcast. Let's jump in. BJ O'Neill here with the Business Coaching Success Podcast. So glad you're here, where I share with you strategies, tools, and tips to be able to grow your business coaching practice to six figures and beyond as a Christian business coach. Let's jump in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad that you are here. Today's podcast. I would say that, what's the word I'm looking for? Controversial, I guess. A little bit of a controversial topic and subject having to do with AI. Lots of people think lots of different things, lots of opinions, lots of misunderstandings. It's a tough one, right? And I'm going to tackle it today from the perspective of those that are looking to build business coaching practices. So I'm going to separate the context of just AI holistically and talk specifically to those who are looking to make a solid living with a business coaching practice. Okay, that's the kind of the whole point. By the way, if you're on our coaching team, this is really good for you because it's going to help you as those that you interact with. If you're not on our coaching team, you're taking a peep, you've seen some resources, some videos, you're just curious about how it all works, you can go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. There's some information there, some resources and tools to help you just on your journey. And you can book a call and just to be able to kind of really understand how everything works. And we'll go from there. So I bring this subject up today because there's a lot of misinformation about AI. And I want to squash the bug. I'm not against AI. We use AI in our coaching business by design, and it will only improve. But there is the way that it's being preached to some degree is inaccurate. And I'll tell you why that's the case. And it reminds me of a season back in the day. Actually, it reminds me of two different seasons. One, gosh, I don't know if it's, we'll call it 25 years ago, maybe 30, when websites started becoming a thing. And if you've ever seen online, I think it's called a Wayback Machine. I forget, it's got a funky spelling. You could go back and look at websites from certain time. It's like a timestamp. It's kind of an interesting tool. But I'll never forget, when websites were created and businesses started to be able to get a website. Arguably, they were terrible looking, for a very long time just because the web was so new. But businesses started to believe that hard work is coming to an end. It's going to be so easy to have a place that we can promote, and put our stuff there, and the phone calls are just going to flood in, and this, running this business is just going to be simple. That was a real, actual thought. Like, if you take that idea, you got to remember, go before, you could even put a website on the internet. Largely, a lot of businesses back then advertised just in traditional media because that's all there was. As a matter of fact, I'll never forget, in one of the businesses we owned back in the 90s, that we would spend a couple of days on working on the Yellow Page ad, and when the person came around from the Yellow Pages to sell us the ad, to re-up us, if you will, we would not see them again for a full year. Think about that. I mean, literally, that was one of the number one sources of getting customers and clients was from one ad that we touched and worked on one time per year. Today now, we're looking at ads every day, renewing ads, canceling ads because of the digital. But I say all that so that when we shifted from this, even billboards back then, you had a billboard that went up and it was up there for a long time. Where today it doesn't require that anymore. And so gone are the days where that's the case. And so when things begin to shift to web, everyone thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing, and we're not going to have to do near the work that we had once been doing. And then you had the same thing happen when Facebook began to do business pages called pages, not profiles. Kind of a similar idea. All of a sudden, everyone thought they had their own megaphone and life was going to be just solved. So I want you to pause for a moment and listen to that and ask yourself the question. And take outliers out of the way, because you can't use outliers when you're, making substantial claims. But to the average, to the whole, when you look at those two things alone, do you see anybody who just didn't have to work anymore and they become so filthy rich they were just done? The answer is no. Now, sure, there were some people who got strategic with both Facebook pages and both websites and certainly did better than their competitors. Sure, we should. But this narrative that we were told or we bought into, and it happens every time. And in another decade, it'll be something else. Well, today it's about AI. And you've probably seen a number of different ads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and so on. Started AI coaching agency. Started, AI, this, that, and the other coaching business or whatever. And the narrative that it begins to shape is this idea that, first of all, if you're not already on it, you're late. It's completely false. You're not late to anything. Sure, it's been around. Honestly, the early adopters have had to try to work through a bunch of sludge and burn a ton of money figuring it out. So you're not late to anything. Second to that is this idea that if you were to latch on to just AI and you're just an AI XYZ, it's going to be revolutionary and change your whole life, whatever. And let me just tell you, it will not. Now, is it a tool? Yes. But that's all that it is. Is it a trending tool? Yes. Is it going to be the driving tool? Maybe, maybe not. Think about this, and someone's going to say yes, but nowhere in humanity have we ever gone backwards. Well, that's actually not accurate in theory. But this one's different for a number of set of reasons. But here's my bigger point: this AI, gold rush, if you will. In other words, get your pan, get to the mountains, and claim your piece of the gold. It's a trap because we begin to believe a narrative that if I just did it this way, that I'm set. And it's not true. It is a tool, but that is what you hear. And so, one, you've got to be careful about what you're hearing, and remember that some things are just being sold. And I do believe this. I do believe that there's enough people peddling the context about the AI being the solution to whatever, and they actually believe it with conviction. And so they're not just trying to be, salesy. I think they actually believe it. And I don't think that they're correct, but that's just my opinion. I believe that they're wrong on basically every front. Why? AI is a tool. Just like Facebook's a tool. TikTok's a tool. Websites are a tool. Radio advertising's a tool. TV advertising's a tool. And so one of the things that we teach inside our system is this term called profit acceleration. It's the compound effect, which you cannot argue with the compound effect, just like you can't argue with compound interest. And so when you get small incremental improvements in multiple business strategies and you compound them together, that's how you get growth. Well, the same thing applies in growing the business holistically, just in like this area, meaning you cannot put all your eggs in one basket, and if you do, you're going to be uncomfortable at some point. Now, you might go through a what I call the flash in the pan, shiny object season, and sometimes that season lasts for a while. But like I think about some of the marketers online right now that 5 years ago or more were just in everyone's face, Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook. None of those guys are teaching Facebook ads anymore. Why? Because it had a short-lived moment. And when you ride these little short waves, there is a cliff at some point. And so you have to be responsible to understand they're just tools, and they can be a tool in the tool belt. All right? Now, second to that, trust is how God created and wired you. Trust is how I'm wired. And AI cannot solve that. And what I believe is happening already, and I believe is only going to get bigger, is that as people continue to use AI, they're going to start to emotionally connect and feel the real psychological effects about trust and the lack thereof, the more AI and the more robotic that we become. It's just going to feel like, wait a minute, hang on a second. Why? We are created as beings in the image of God. What does that mean? That means that when I get around others, like, shaking hands and hugging the neck and, going to lunch and coffees, like high-fiving, like that's a thing. Why? We're wired that way. So if we all decide to use, AI phone calling and AI responding and AI whatever, we're beginning to diminish trust, because at some point, everything is going to look and sound the same, and that's going to improve a lack of trust. And as business coaches, if you've not spent the appropriate amount of time building the trust inside the space of growth of AI, you're going to lose. But the coaches that do spend time to understand it, you know what? AI is a tool. I'm going to use it to write. I'm going to use it to be able to get more efficient with my calendar. I'm going to use it to all these things. But when it comes to building the relationship, I'm going to flip it on its head, and I'm going to be more relational than ever. And I believe that those coaches who embrace that theology, that it's going to actually improve things a lot faster, because so many people are already feeling the fatigue of a lack of trust because of the lack of human element. As a matter of fact, to even prove that, Google and several of the other platforms are beginning to run content. I don't know what the actual, or I've lost track of the actual term, but essentially it's a check, so that you as a consumer, me as a consumer, if we're online looking at something, you're eventually here soon, there's going to be a pop-up. If the whole thing was just provided by AI, they're going to let you know. Now, I want you to think, if Google's doing that, what are they suggesting? Think about that. It's an admonishment that, hang on, there's a lack of human element that's created this, and we want you to know about it. Now, it doesn't mean the content's bad. There's arguably, you'll probably go, okay, no problem. But the mere fact that they're letting you know that is just exposure to the fact that, hey, we want a balance. So the business coach that attempts to try to AI everything, like, get one AI agent and it'll solve all your whatever, it might do some things. We have AI agents in our business, but they provide efficiency to be able to do what we need to do, which is to serve the client. I also believe that optically, if your prospects and your clients see you overly using AI, again, maybe I'm wrong, but I just think that there's a moment there that improves the ability to get, and no one's going to say it with these words, but it's just going to feel like you lack empathy, you lack conversation, and you lack a desire to want to build a true relationship. I see it happening right now, so I'm not wrong. Now, will that be widespread? I don't know. Will the human race get conditioned? I don't know. I mean, I could understand both arguments. I'm on the one that I don't think that we will be conditioned, and here is a reason why I think that that's what's partially true. Perhaps you've seen some of these reels going around in the month of May. Several, what do you call them? The speakers at graduations at universities, professors and special guests and whatnot, talked about, like, this is like, you can go look it up and you can find these, talked about how AI is going to basically, one of them at least felt a little fear-mongering. Maybe it wasn't, but it just had that feeling to it. But as they begin to talk about AI and the job market, whatever, the students booed. Every one of them. Different universities, different speakers, different days, like not connected. Every single time that a professor brought up AI in the future, jobs, whatever, they got booed. Now, I want you to think about that. So here's my point. I mean, but think about that, meaning like, that suggests that the humankind, young people of all people, young people are going to hang on, checks and balances, they're using AI every day, but they don't want it to replace people. And so I think that at the end of the day, when we just get down to the brass tacks and go, AI is a tool. I'm not going to buy into this, ridiculous lie that if I could just become a coach with AI, whatever, my problems are solved. I don't have to work that hard. Look, you're going to have to work hard. AI will probably improve. I think that we're going to end up probably regulating it at some point. Regulating meaning that I don't mean like governmental regulations. I just think the human race is going to regulate it to some degree. Google's already regulating by telling you, hey, this is AI content, just letting you know. But closing this out by saying this. The business coach that wants to succeed, and by succeed, I mean in creating a long-lasting business coaching practice, earning whatever number you want to earn. That's up to you. It will be the one who understands that it's always going to require hard work, because anything of value requires hard work. And if you don't want to work hard, business coaching is not for you. Second to that is the coach that succeeds is aware and stays open to new tools. But they take the new tools and they put them in their appropriate place, which is behind them in building trust. Again, AI can be more efficient. We use it in a number of different ways to help out in building the content for our coaches that utilize it to educate business owners. But we can't reverse it to think that the AI tool is by itself going to be the solution so I don't have to work so hard. That part of it is the reason a coach will not succeed. And what will probably happen, just like anything else over the years, after this for a very long time, I'd say we're in a year, maybe less, a year to year and a half away, where most people are going to go, oh, okay, I see how this works. Like, I do have to work hard. It's just a tool. It does help here, here, here. I don't have to have 5 things over there. I can use one. It's consolidated to this. It helps me think through, it helps me research, but I still got to go work hard, build relationships, add value. The coach that adds value builds legitimate relationship on how they can solve the problem of a client, and a prospect will be the ones that wins. Whichever one you use in the background, tool-wise, is going to be irrelevant. We just cannot lead with it. And just having an AI agency in and of itself, and you're teaching the roofing company how to use AI kind of thing by itself, that they're just going to trip over themselves and pay you because of that. Because there's going to be as many problems and challenges with that as there was with SEO, as there was with, remember, we invented the answering machine. You're right? Like, meaning that there used to be not that. But there's still problems with that. You got to listen to them, right? You have to reply to people. You have to go back to every single thing that's created is great, but you still have to work structures, systems, and tools. There you go. I get the question all the time about AI. Yes, it's going to change. Yes, it's going to morph. Will I change my mind? Not from a humanitarian perspective, not from a trust perspective. I'm sure it's going to iron itself out. It'll be a balance, and it'll just become a part of culture like everything else has over the last, a couple of 100 years or so. All right, there you go. I hope that has added value to you today. Take care.